absolutely free. 866-928-3310. Far as Emini Futures. Listen on your Android phones, BlackBerry, and WebOS phones. Stitcher is smart radio on your phone. Find it in your app store or at Stitcher.com. Stitcher Smart Radio, the smarter way to listen to radio.
Are you ready, Steve? Andy? Yeah! Bert? Well, all right, fellas. Let's go!
You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Today's broadcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download at www.audibletrial.com/CFRN. Over 85 religion, science, technology, business, New York Times bestsellers, even children's books. You name it, Audible has it. With 85,000 titles to choose from, you're sure to find the perfect audiobook for yourself or to give as a gift, and it's absolutely free. Just point your browser to audibletrial.com/CFRN. That's audibletrial.com/CFRN. And become a part of the audiobook revolution by downloading your free audiobook today. audibletrial.com/CFRN.
Hey, trader, want to get rich quick? Well, good luck with that. If, on the other hand, you actually want to learn how to trade, the place to be is www.cfrn.net. Tune in Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern for our daily devotional, and then spend the next 3 hours learning how it's done from professional traders who actually trade for a living. That's www.cfrn.net. Every trading day from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern. CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN Emini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things E-mini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro, and even T-bills. Joining us today from our studios in Boston, Mr. Michael Borth. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Tuesday, 11th day of April, 2018. Hope you're having a great day. I hope you're having a better day than Mark. Mark's up on the hill. Oh, wait, Wednesday. Yeah? Just pick a day. It actually is the 11th day of April, 2018. Based on this calendar I have on my desk, it is Wednesday. So I don't know where that Tuesday business came from, but I was probably preoccupied worrying about my buddy, the Zuck, you know, up on the hill, getting grilled. And with all that money, you know, there's you can get over a bad burrito in 24 hours, but a bad haircut, wow, now that takes a while. So, Mark, you got the money, man. Just get a stylist. You can do it. No, he's a really interesting guy. I don't know how he grew up. I know nothing about his childhood. You know, Bill Gates, he had sort of a golden childhood, or a gilded childhood. He was exposed to computers at a very early age, when most of us didn't even know what a computer was. Closest we'd ever come to a computer was Captain Kirk's little flip phone. Anyway, all right. If you're returning, welcome back. If you're here for the first time, a special welcome to you. We are in our second decade of broadcast history. So grab your day planner and pencil us in for the next decade. Okay? All right. Now, I've got a chart up of the S&P 500 Emini Futures. If you would like to see that chart, and you do. So, if you can't see it, go to our homepage at cfrn.net. On the right-hand side of the page, click the big microphone. Follow the instructions. You'll be registered through the end of the month. You only register once a month. Come 1st of May, you'll do it again. Also, make sure you have a backup. youtube.com/cfrn/live. During the live radio broadcast each day, we also broadcast a live stream on YouTube. So you can access us either way, whichever works best for you. You can also just listen to the audio stream if you're driving or operating heavy machinery. Fair enough. Now, let's look at these markets around the world. Let's see what the numbers are. And then Michael will be in to give us a recap of everything that happened in the live training room today. We had an exceptional show yesterday. Monday was a great show, ran 4 hours. Yesterday was a great show because of our guests and because of the investment opportunity that we were exposed to. Now, that was part of our due diligence on this investment opportunity. We've got to go look at the other side, okay? Because, of course, someone who represents the company and believes in the company and is helping their clients with this product, they're going to say positive things. I mean, that's just the way life works. We know there has to be, some hitch in the giddy up somewhere. We simply have to find what that is, right? And then we have to weigh that, put it up on the scales, put the opportunity on one side, and then put this hitch, this risk, whatever we find. So we'll go out on the internet and we'll check, BBB, and we'll just do a couple different things, and maybe even have, I think his name's Gary, who's in the audience yesterday. He actually has money in this product. I think he's on our free trial this week. I'll get the chat box open in a minute and talk to him. His money is with First Global, and Dale, who was on the show yesterday, is general counsel. Now, Scott, who is a CFRN partner, he is the founder of Retirement Planning Masters. So Gary did not go through our partner Scott, but his investment is in the same company, in the same product, which is the Merchant Advance thingamajig. All right, I said it. Let's take a look. Oh, somebody's typing. Gary's here. Yeah, hey Gary. Maybe, I don't know if we'll be able to get it to, I want to give you a chance to think about it too. Not enough time to get nervous, but maybe tomorrow I open up your mic for a couple minutes if you're going to be here. And you could tell us what your experience is with the product. And we don't want you to color it any way other than exactly how you feel. You know what I'm saying? Because you will be part of our due diligence. Well, Gary said no. I mean, it's quite an opportunity. And folks, Gary just said sure, he'd be happy to do that. So tomorrow we'll have a very special guest, Gary, a user of this product or someone who has actually invested their hard-earned money in this product. He'll come and say, hey, I get a check every month, or they roll it over, I get a statement, whatever. Okay, and we'll do a couple other things, and then we will, if everything balances out, there's more positive than negative, we will sign off. Now, by signing off, what does that mean? It means that there will be advertisements on CFRN radio and across all of the CT Global Media web properties. There'll be links that you can click to take you over to Scott and get you going with some more. Of course, just because I do due diligence, I'm not a licensed investment advisor, and so what I say, take that with a grain of salt, okay? Just some old hippie on the radio. Now, do your due diligence. Take it to your accountant. Take it to your CPA. Take it to your attorney, okay? And because the opportunity, I think, from an industry standpoint, will only get better as time goes on. I think as more merchants become aware of the availability of this type of funding, I think it's a growth industry, and quite frankly, 8 to 11% variable based on the reasons that Dale discussed yesterday. That's not a bad return on your money, considering for a decade people have been getting like half of 1%. I think if you put your money in a savings account. Now, you earn a half of 1%, but you have to pay to keep your money in the bank. I know. They used to give you toasters and waffle irons, and not anymore. Not anymore. Okay, we're going to talk about cash markets for a moment. Start here in the U.S. The Dow currently underwater, down 78 points. The NASDAQ is positive, up 28 points. S&P 500 is positive by 2 points, and the Russell 2000 is up 6.5 points on the session. No movers, no shakers. Sort of a continuation of that quiet sideways activity that we saw yesterday. Now, if you turn the hands of time back a year, okay, this was an ordinary, this was actually, this is a good day. We're calling it right now a couple days of consolidation because of these huge swings and huge volatility that we've seen of late. But again, turn back the hands of time, and this was a giddy up kind of day, all right? The low yesterday of the session came in down around 26.12. High of the session up at 26.67. Oh yeah. Turn back the hands of time a year. This right here would have people dancing in the streets. So let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater. Yeah, I don't know what that means either, but I've heard people say it. Okay, crude oil inventories numbers came out today, and currently crude is up $1.55, trading 67.06 last. Okay, we had a huge day yesterday in crude, and today we're up again over 2%. Something's up, or because we've already blown out the highest weekly trading zone on crude. We blew that out back, gosh, what, $2 ago? Let's see, oil, well, we're trading 67.06 last, and the highest weekly zone on crude is 65.60/65. We could see a reversal, okay? Just keep that in the back of your mind. All right. In the Asian markets at the close, remember, every single market was green yesterday. The Nikkei closed down 107 points, half of 1%. Shanghai was up 18 points at the close, half of 1%. And the Hang Seng up 169 points at the close, and guess what? That's half of 1% as well. Last but not least, in the Asian markets, the FTSE down 9.5 at the close. DAX down 103, that's almost 1%. The CAC down 29, which is a little over half of 1%. So, red day in Europe, mixed day in Asia, and a mixed day here at home. And the only thing dragging on the market here would be the Dow, down 99 points. And the S&P seems to be following it because the S&P is headed back to the flat line. Now, on this chart that I have up, you can see that the high right here, you with me? Okay, look left. Important prices, important areas are almost always tested. And we went over that an awful lot yesterday. And we looked at some interesting examples of how price can come all the way back, you know, to test and do it to the tick and And how is that even possible? So if you didn't catch that discussion yesterday, I encourage you to do so. And also Monday, we discussed that on Monday as well. And as a trader, it's important to you. On the S&P 500 last night, we simply said, if you get the opportunity, sell 2650. Okay. This vertical line represents the beginning of the Wednesday session, which is 6 p.m. Eastern Tuesday night. This marks the beginning of the Tuesday session, which began Monday night at 6 p.m. Eastern. Okay. Now, as soon as the markets reopen at 6 p.m. Eastern, the day margins are in effect on the futures contracts. S&P, $500. Dow, $500. Russell, NASDAQ. The indices are all $500. The only time you'll be subjected to that higher margin is if you hold a position open from the Tuesday session to the Wednesday session. Be flat when Tuesday closes, and then you can get right back into the market when the Wednesday session opens at 6 p.m. Eastern, and you'll enjoy day margins all the way through. Okay. Now, for some people it's important, some not. It depends upon the size of your account and a number of other factors. We did say last night to consider selling 2650 if you had the opportunity. The initial drop, hour and a half, the market made 9 points available. It did not have a major retracement here, but it did go sideways for a number of hours. If you were trailing tightly, that little tail might have took you out, okay? But if you didn't get taken out there, trailing your stop, then if you got out in here, that's because you just simply said, I'm going to get out, okay? The market did nothing to take you out. And then right here, 5:30 a.m. Eastern, well, actually it would be 6 a.m. Eastern, that's when we got the remainder of the sell-off. So there was 9 points available here. That's what the market made available. If you stayed in the trade, the market made 24 points available. And then important prices, important areas, almost always tested. We get back above the trigger and we drop 9 points again. So we got 9, 24, 9. The long side of this trade is overhead significantly, and I've still got to pull up my I'll pull up my chart while Michael's doing the recap. It's 2671, I think, was the number, but we'll take a look at it when I come back. Do we expect this to roll over and give us another trade on the short side? I don't really have an expectation. If it comes back down through the trigger, then yes, that is a new trade unfolding. However, why predict? Why prophesy? Why project? Why not be in the moment, right? If we trigger to the long side, we simply, if the market's moving higher, it's probably a good idea to be long rather than short. And if the market's declining, it's probably a better idea to be short than to be long. Okay? Now, if the market's declining and for whatever reason you don't want to be short, just don't go long. And if the market's climbing and you don't want to go long, just don't be short. See? See how that works? Awesome. Now, Brad asks, are your concierge alerts based on the same methodology as Michael's system? Well, gee, I guess we'd have to ask Michael about, well, I know I've been involved with a few projects of late, and so I don't come into the live training room a lot of mornings. Some mornings I'm there with my headphones on, but I don't. Michael and I end up talking over each other, or I end up talking over him. So I just kind of give him free rein there. I want him to be able to focus on you guys and helping you get to where you want to be. But it's kind of our system, We've been working on it for quite a number of years, going back to, I guess actually we had our roots in 2006, I suppose. And then Michael and I traded, I think, once a week on the radio, back before we had video and charts, and it's evolved over time. What you can do, Brad, if you are new, is if you go to our blog, cfrn.net, and just click on the Emini Radio blog, you'll pick up a lot of history there. You can even go to our old blog, which is archive.cfrn.net. It's kind of a museum at this point. And emini.cfrn.net. That is, to my knowledge, the single largest repository of free educational training material regarding Emini Futures and of late cryptocurrency as well. You'll find webinars and seminars and Q&A sessions and training videos and oh my goodness. And what's really amazing is you can't find the bottom of the page. You scroll down all the way to the bottom and it grows. And you scroll and it grows and you scroll and it grows. In fact, I offered to buy somebody a t-shirt if they could ever find the first post on the Google Plus board. I'm sure there's a way to do it, but I haven't spent enough time at it to try and figure it out. So when I come back, we'll talk about what's going on over in Europe. You've heard of the euro. I don't know what they're going to call this, but a group of 22 European nations have formed a new blockchain partnership aimed to exchange information on the technology. I mean, this every day the news is bipolar when it comes to cryptocurrency, because on any given day on the front page of the Crypto Times you'll find the world is ending and it's all because of Bitcoin. And on the other side, you'll read stuff like a group of 22 European nations have formed a new blockchain partnership aimed to exchange information on the technology. UK, France, Germany, Norway, Spain, Netherlands. We'll talk about it when I come back. But for now, Michael will come, if he's ready, and give us a recap of what happened in the live training room.
I am just going to change my name.
And, you know, Brad, let me just finish answering your question. Sorry, I'm glad you typed that in. So the alerts they're not based on the methodology that we use in the live training room each day. However, that methodology that we use in the live training room can be used as an additional tool to help you trade the alerts. When you have the weekly trading zones and you have the Concierge Trade Alert and you're a partner, so you have the indicators, what I can do is in the one-on-one mentoring sessions, I actually teach you how to use those three things to triangulate a position and to determine how high of a probability it is and whether you should act on it or walk away. We do a lot of walking away because with so many opportunities presented per day, there's 16 opportunities when you open that email at night, but over the course of the session you could see 20, 30, 40, even more actual triggers. And I'll talk about that when I come back. Michael, I can see your screen.
Okay.
And it's a very fine screen.
It is a very fine
screen. Very fine
nice
screen.
work.
Okay, I'm going to hit mute. It's all yours.
All right, here we go. All right, before I kick it in, I'll answer Brad's question with my answer, which is very similar to Dwayne's. The Concierge Trade Alerts are not based on the same methodology that we use, the same trade setups that we use. They are based on some of the same indicators, but not the same trade setups. Okay, I think that might have been what you were asking. And the Concierge signals are released nightly, correct? Okay. All right. So let's get into it. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Wednesday, the 11th day of April 2018. Sorry. Rainbow there. If you have not taken a free trial with us, go to the home page here at cfrn.net, and up at the very top where it says sign up for the CFRN Live Training Room 100% free trial. User indicators on our strategy. Click here. When you click there, you'll be sent a confirmation link. you must click on the confirmation link. Okay, if you don't click the confirmation link, well, we don't know you took the trial. Actually, I just messed that all up. Okay, let's do it again. Take 2. If you have not taken a free trial with us, go to the homepage here at CFRN.net, and right up here at the very top, it's to sign up for the CFRN Live Training Room 100% free trial. User indicators on our strategy. Click here. When you click there, you'll be brought to this page. On this page, all we ask for is your email, your first name, how you found us. You hit submit. Once you hit submit, you'll be sent a confirmation link. That's the link you got to click on to let us know that you took the trial. Okay, now, the results. We are back to green. Took all day to do it, though. All right, if you're going to read the spreadsheet, you read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. The spreadsheet goes back to January 2nd of 2013. It's a daily spreadsheet with everything that happened. Okay, what markets we hit, what markets we didn't hit, what markets hit us back, all that. Okay, so today, as I said, is the 11th day of April. Today we lost 8 ticks in the euro, we made 11 ticks in crude, we lost 8 ticks in gold, and we made 10 ticks in the ES. That just barely got us to the goal for the day, but we got it anyway. Okay, and that last trade was I think it was a crude trade. We needed 6 ticks to get to the goal for the day, and it went about 8 or 10, but we were good with 6. All right, so today it took 115 minutes and 10 trades to get to the goal for the day, and there was a total of 10 opportunities. Now, I missed a bunch because things got really volatile at one point, and it was just bouncing around really fast, too fast for me to get into and get out of while I was trying to do more than one market. But I'll get to that in a few minutes, okay? So on the month now, $1,042.50. That's over 8 days, averaging $130 per day. That is one contract, 2 hours per day. Okay, on the year, 10,396. That's over 66 days, averaging $157 per day. Okay. All right. Put this away. And now there's a bounce off the BBC right here on gold. But let's go take a look at what happened. You see, it did get volatile during the break. Actually, this was happening right before the break, but it kept putting in new highs. That's why we couldn't jump in on this. Every one of these was a new high on the day. Then the slingshot got all messed up. Okay. But we had on gold, we had just this one trade right here, and we stopped out. That was the only trade we had on gold today. I know it looks like there's great volatility and really nice leg lengths and all that, but using the trade setups that we use in the room, yeah, you weren't getting anything. But if you use the 137s, the inverted 137s, the 128s, 164s, then you had a ton of opportunity to capture in here. Okay, a lot of points. So that was it. And then during the break, let's see, we had bearish cross, down close right here for that leg down. And the next spot would have been right there for that leg. Then right there for that leg. And that brings us to where we are currently with a long off the BBC. Okay. New high is not a disqualifier. If there's no room to move the stop to break even, then the new high is a disqualifier. You got to have enough room between your entry and the high of the day or the low of the day to get your stop to break even. So if, like, let's say the high of the day was right here, or let's say the high of the day is right here. When this bar closes up, we can't take it because there's no room in between there and the high of the day to get the stop to break even. Now, if you had an opportunity, like let's say right here, this is going to be a momentum long trade. So you only need to have one tick in between your entry and the high of the day. Okay. Okay. And that one right there, stop to break even. Stop to +2. And I'm going to put it over here. All right. That was the bounce off of the BBC right there. The euro, yeah, we just had the one stop out here on the euro too. So gold and the euro each had one stop out, one trade, one stop out. And we missed a short here that would have been break even. We missed a long here that would have gotten us some profit. And then it was really choppy. And it still is. And that was it on the euro. All right, crude. There was a lot of opportunity on crude later on in the session. All right, early on. Hang on. Here we go. Okay. So there was a missed opportunity right here at 9:31. Another one right there and another one right there. Now, this one would have given some profit. This one would have been break even. This one would have been break even. And then I did do that one. I don't know why I did that one, because this had to put in a higher swing, but I drew the arrows, so I did do it. And we ended up break even. Okay, now over here, there was another one that we missed. On this, we got one tick profit right here. All right. Did we miss this? Yeah, it looks like we did. Yeah, we did. Well, we had crude inventories come out today too. Okay, right in here. Crude inventories came out. And I said this morning at about 10 o'clock, look for it to get down here to this level, and then look for it to get to the high of the day. So it got within a few ticks of that level, which was where the API, where it was trading yesterday before the API numbers came out. Okay, and then this was all punching in the high of the day right up in here. This is the one tick that we got into, all right, and we missed that. Looks like we missed another one right in there, but I think this one was a miss. This one right here was not, and this one was not, I don't think, because they were going into the high of the day. That's why I don't have lines drawn there. We didn't have enough room. Okay, this one right here, we picked up 7 ticks to put us at +8. Is that right? No, we picked up 4 ticks to put us at +5. Now we missed one there. We missed one there, and there, and there, and there. I told you it got a little volatile right over here for a couple of minutes. This was our last trade of the morning. We picked up 6 ticks on this one. Okay, and it actually went. We were in at 67.03, and it actually went up to 67.15. So it went a good 12 ticks. Okay, then this was during the break. Let's see. Bounce off the BBC short right over here. Okay, and that was it. That was it. All right. So now on the ES, let's see. Okay, right at the open right here, the ES had a bounce. Now I opened things up about 5 or 10 minutes early, and so I saw that in the first 10 minutes pre-market, it had done this leg right here, and then it got really choppy on us. Okay, right here on the ES, we grabbed 2 ticks on that. We missed that one. We missed that one. Had a break even there. It looks like I missed a bounce off the BBC here, but I'm probably thinking we weren't trending. Over here, we picked up 5 ticks to put us at +7. We had a break even right there, a break even there. And somewhere else, we picked up 3 ticks. I don't know where. Might be there. I don't know, but somewhere else we picked up 3 ticks to put us up to +10. I don't remember where it was. It might have been right in here. I think it was a long trade, so it was probably right in here. And I locked in 3 ticks to get us up to +10. Right, and that was our morning. That was our morning today. All right, so and bring this up. Today, the 11th day of April, we lost 8 ticks in the euro, made 11 ticks in crude, we lost 8 ticks in gold, and we made 10 ticks on the ES to get us to +105. Took 115 minutes and 10 trades to get to $105 a contract. That was the goal for the day, and we took a total of 10 trade opportunities today. So on the month now, we're at 1,042.50. That's over 8 days, averaging 130 per day. On the year now, We're at 10,396. That's over 66 days, averaging $157 per day. Okay, that's on the year. That's one contract, 2 hours per day. Again, if you're going to read this, go read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. All right, here. If you have not taken a free trial with us, go to the home page here at cfrn.net. Right up here at the very top, it says sign up for the CFRN live training room. 100% free trial user indicators on our strategy. Click here. Click there, and you'll be brought to this page. On this page, all we ask for is your email, your first name, how you found us, then hit the submit button. Once you hit that submit button, you will be sent a confirmation link. You must click on the confirmation link. Okay? If you don't click the confirmation link, well, you ain't getting it. That gold bounce off at the BBC is still going here. You see that? It's still going. We got in at 61.3, and it's now at plus 16 ticks. So I'll lock in a little bit more. We have 10 ticks locked in now. We'll lock in 12. Right now, what it should do is this green line should turn up, get up into the cycle, and it should exceed the prior swing high. So we're in at 0.3. So if I put a target up here, that would be 20 ticks. And we can just let this play out if you want. I don't know how long it'll take, and I don't know how many other things Dwayne's got going on, but
I got nothing, honey.
There's plus 17. Oh, almost came right back down off of that.
I got nothing, honey.
Okay. All right. If it breaks.
No, what I'm saying is you can let it play out if you want, because I got nothing.
Yeah. I know. I was just going to say, we're looking for the green line to turn up and get up into the cycle. If it does,
somebody said put on full screen, please. Okay, for full.
You mean the gold?
Well, for full screen. Yeah, I don't know, Mike. Tell us what you mean by full screen, because you actually control the size of your viewing window with Go 2. Is that what you meant right there, Mike? Is this what he's doing right now? No, Mike B in the. Oh, you're both Mike B. Mike B in the chat room.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's what he was asking for. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was from here to here. So that was a pretty good one.
Now, let's do okay. Show us that trade again, real quick.
Okay. It bounced off the BBC right here, 61.3.
Okay. Now, would you bump that up to a 30-minute time frame?
Yep. Let me put the arrow on there. And 30-minute time frame.
And there's nothing magical about 30 minutes. It's just a number. Now, there are reasons why we use a 4-tick range, but the 30-minute, the reason I use that as my higher time frame is just because I do. I used to use an hour. Now, okay, this is the 30-minute chart. So the last cross we had was bullish. And the trade you just pointed out, that was a long trade, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So he had the wind at his back on that. Now, if you had been long all the way up, so all the pretty little blue candles marching up the chart on this 30-minute chart Michael has up, not the candle we're on right now, but the previous candle, that red candle closed below the CFMA1 and the step line. Now that might be, for me, that's a heads up to, head for the exit. Now, could it just be a little pullback and continue on? Absolutely. Are the gold bulls out in force today? Yeah. I mean, we're at the highest gold price since August of 2016, I think. You know what? When I take the charts back, I've got a chart that I'll blow up. But that's easy for you to say. I'll blow it out, and we'll take a look at that recent high. In fact, did you ready for me to take the charts? Are you still stocking that trade?
No, we got out. I think 16 ticks.
Okay.
Something like that.
Let me get the charts.
Put this back on a 4-tick range.
Okay. All right. And one more click. Here we go. Boom. Shaka laka laka. I made a GIF. You ever made a GIF or a GIF?
A GIF.
People fight over that.
Yeah, they do.
Now, it's an image. It's pretty neat. It's not a video. It's an image, a GIF, an animated GIF. And so that little part, just this little part, it will just repeat over and over, sitting on a web page, which is what I'm on emini.cfrn.net right now. And if anyone in the audience fancies himself a totally awesome graphic designer, if you want to take this image and replace that coin with the actual reasonable facsimile of the CT Global token, because we know they're just numbers on a computer, but you get my point. We have a very awesome, I mean, that's probably the best word for it, right? Totally awesome. It might be, maybe that's
awesome. Yeah,
awesome, totally awesome, whatever. And an awesome graphic designer would be able to take that, Facebook, would be able to take that and put it right in that man's hand, or lady's hand, and you would never know. Oh, I forgot I got personal. Well, it's not personal, it's business. The labor strike in Pakistan is over. I am so excited. We can get back to work again. I told everybody in the audience yesterday, but you might not have got it. You might, maybe you didn't get the memo. Yeah, that's John would say.
I heard it. I heard it.
Oh, you heard it? Well,
I did.
Good on you. Let's see. Let me drag. Can I drag it? God, that thing's heavy. How come you won't blow up? Seriously? Woo-hoo. I always want to stand up and put my hand over my heart when that music plays. You guys couldn't hear the music in the audience. Those who listen later on the podcast will hear the music, but that's just awesome, awesome, awesome. Now, I bet I could ask Valerie, because she's a professional video kind of person. And update, guys, I told you that I would tell you before the press release went out, and the press release will tell people that, you know, we're getting ready to trade on the open market. So I wrestled last night with a couple different ideas, threw my hip out. I may have, I don't know, pulled a muscle in my back as well. But this, when we were done wrestling, I've decided at this point, check back in an hour. I'm kind of like the weather. I change a lot. Well, in Arizona, it never changes. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to have a press release tomorrow morning. We're going to have a webinar tomorrow afternoon. We'll have a follow-up press release Friday morning, and then we will begin open trading on the exchange. So I'll put that information up at emini.cfrn.net. If you participated in the pre-sale, I think you'll want to come to the webinar. And if you did not, I think you might still want to come to the webinar and, you know, see what's really going on here. If you missed the pre-sale, that breaks my heart. I mean, we didn't want to push people. We didn't want to, you know, like sell you and, you know, and try to, you know, talk you into something. Not at all. Absolutely not at all. In fact, I had people call me and they would say, hey, I want to get, you know, X with some commas and zeros of those tokens. And I'm like, okay, have you been to the Christian Traders website? Nope. Okay. Do you understand what cryptocurrency is? No, not really. Okay, well, then why do you want to get these tokens? Because you and Michael are doing it, and I just trust you guys. That sends shivers down my spine. And I would actually say, you know, I am so touched that you have that much confidence and faith in us, but I would not be fulfilling my fiduciary responsibility to you if I didn't tell you, You need to go to the website. You need to read the information. You need to watch the videos and follow the links and just do some general due diligence out on the internet so that you understand what it is that you're doing. He goes, can't I just do it because I trust you guys? And I'm like, no, I want you to, when you call back, I want you to tell me that you have done those things and that you do have a fair enough understanding that, you know. He goes, I know this is a lot of money to some people, but it's not to me. I'm thinking of one call in particular. I said, well, everything, I try to treat everyone, every person the same, and it just, whether you want to spend $1, you know, or $100,000, you need to, somebody needs to make you to learn to do due diligence. Otherwise, you're going to get hurt. Because there's a lot of bad people out there. What does Trump call them? Bad dudes? Oh, no, bad hombres. Bad hombres, yeah. There's bad hombres out there who care more about your money than you do. Okay? So, be careful. It's really, really important. Now, it used to be everybody talked about the penny stocks and the pump and dumps and all that kind of stuff. It's still there. It's still happening. That hasn't gone away. But people are now using the cryptocurrency platform to try to, you know, pull all those old tricks out of the bag again. So, and they've got more tools now than they used to have. They used to have to call Mr. Jones at his house and pitch him. But now they have other ways of tricking him into clicking some link, which puts some kind of malware on his computer. And if you're not protecting yourself, if you surf without protection, you're gonna have a life crisis, okay? Because there's somebody trying to steal your identity right now. In fact, if you didn't follow Experian's advice, I checked. My information is on the dark web. What am I going to do? I can't change my name. I guess I could change my name. That's legal. And I think you can even ask for a new social security number. But whatever. And just stay off the dark web. I know I took you all there one day on a little like a field trip, but you know it's there. You saw it. Now leave it alone. It's not a good place. Which exchange will going to be traded on? Frederick, that will be in the press release. Okay. Now, I can explain later the reasoning behind that, but I need to let everybody know at the same time, kind of thing. So Thursday will let people know about the webinar tomorrow afternoon, and it will let people know that we'll begin trading on Friday. And then Friday's press release will identify the exchange, the link that you go to for the order book to place your orders, and the time, date, time, and a link straight to the order book, to the CTG order book. Okay. Now, some of you, or all of you actually, who participated in the pre-sale, when we open on Friday, I don't have a spokesmodel to bang the gong or ring the bell, but maybe I can find one between now and then. Anywho, I think you're going to be like, I don't know, how do they say that? Pleasantly surprised, because there's activities on the horizon. And so just relax, okay? Don't get sideways. Just watch, okay? We're not taking, this is not a weekend vacation. This is not a short trip to the store. This is not a foot race. But this is something far bigger, and I owe it to you, as part of my fiduciary responsibility, to help you see the big picture. I did write about it the other night, and I wrote about a lot of stuff, but in particular, I don't want you to think about this. There are a lot of people that got into Bitcoin at $1, right? And when that sucker hit $2, oh my, there was much dancing in the street, and they couldn't get rid of them coins fast enough because they had doubled their money. And any book about trading will tell you when you double your money, that's good. They doubled their money. They turned $1 into $2, or 100 into 200, or 10,000 into 20,000. But how do they feel today? How did they feel in December when Bitcoin was approaching $20,000. And even now at 6,000 or 7,000. You think about the difference of turning $1 into $2 or $1 into a whole lot more. Now, am I suggesting that CTG is going to be like Bitcoin, that it's going to go to 20,000? Absolutely not. It's not Bitcoin. It's built on the Ethereum blockchain. It's not a security. It doesn't represent fractional ownership in any company, organization, or entity, right? We do not know on Friday if investors will cautiously approach to see what's going to happen, or if experienced, savvy crypto investors who've already made money and have money to spend are going to storm the gates. We don't know. Of course, I'd like to see them storm the gates, yeah, but we just have to. We're at a point now. It's been an uphill climb, and we finally hit a plateau, a place where we can take a breath and just let this thing work itself out. All right? Your prayers are appreciated, and you, as a token owner, are an ambassador of CT Global. I don't want you out trying to talk people into buying the token. Okay, that's not what I'm suggesting you do, even remotely. But I am encouraging you to tell people what you've done. Okay? Not you should do this, but here's what I've done. And these are the reasons that, and they're going to go, well, why'd you do that? Well, the reason is, it's just, there are 2.4 billion Christian consumers, or just 2.4 billion Christians on planet Earth. Self-professed Christians, according to Pew Research. There are 1 million, only 1 million CT Global tokens. We took a different approach. Instead of billions and billions and billions of tokens like these other guys, we took the Buffett approach. And when Michael correlated those two and used it as an analogy, I go, you know, that's true. We have the best of both worlds. We have the Berkshire Hathaway model, which has resulted in their stock trading at $300,000 a share because they didn't dilute it. But we also have the Bitcoin fractional ownership model of the token, which means based on price, 1,000 people can own one token. We got to give it time. We got to let it mature. And we got to make sure, because people are going to look at us, right? You know, the greatest sermon any of us could ever preach, and I know most of us aren't preachers and don't preach, but you just work with me here. The greatest sermon you'll ever preach is the life you live. Because when you start bopping your gums, man, it goes in one ear and out the other. But their eyes are always on you, because you said you were a Christian, and they're going to catch you. They're going to trick you. They're going to trap you. They're going to get you caught up in a lie. You say whatever, the smallest thing, because you have self-identified as a Christian. Push you in the hot seat. But Christ said we need to go and make disciples of men. Well, it's pretty hard to do that if you don't first self-identify as a Christian. Speaking of self-identifying, and then Michael, I'll let you run. I know you got to go. Your son's how old?
Jake, he is going to be 14 next month.
Okay. Has he talked to you about peer pressure to self-identify? Do you even know what that means? Do you even know what that means?
No.
Okay, well, my nephew, my wife's sister's nephew, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nice young man. He's not a football player. Let's put it that way, okay? So I don't say anything negative. But he was under tremendous peer pressure at school to self-identify. It wasn't the teachers asking, it wasn't the social worker. The other kids wanted to know which team he played for, as if it was their business, as if it was important. And he's only, I don't know, how old is he? 10? 9? But she said this happened back when he was like 7. And I guess it's a big turn, and you know, soccer moms talk about it. Has your son or daughter self-identified yet? And you know, at 7 years old, I had no clue what team I was playing for. You know what I mean? At 7, I didn't even know there was. I didn't even know there was a team.
Yeah, He's pretty much identified with his team. Well,
Okay,
he's
well, yeah,
identified
I mean,
what team he's on anyway,
there's some
but,
people
yeah.
who, yeah, they're going to automatically assume because of their behavior and their actions and their mannerisms.
Yeah.
But those
My
who
daughter,
happen
on the other hand, though,
yeah, go ahead.
and she's 16,
Uh-huh.
and she still hasn't figured it all out.
And she's talked to you about that?
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's good. I mean, at least you have dialogue there. Now, the same sister had 2 twin daughters, and they went through a period in their life. They went to Afghanistan and dropped bombs on people. And as they were in the military, they learned about the other team, and they came back from the service playing for the other team. Now they both have babies. So it was like a phase they went through from, like, I don't know, 21 to 24 maybe. And it was like, okay, yeah, been there, done that. Don't think I like it too much. And now they both have kids. So, how will you deal with it as a parent? Would you try to talk them out of it? Would you try to help them see the light, or would you just say, "Well, I love you no matter what"?
What I did do, and this is because I had this talk. What I did do is I said, I'll love you no matter what, whatever decision you make, but I think you're too young to make that kind of a decision. I don't think that you've experienced enough life yet. I think you ought to wait until you've had a full-time job, you've been financially independent, you've had a single job at all. You've never even had a job and earned a penny in your life.
Right.
I said, I don't think you've got enough life experience at this age to make that kind of a decision. And that was my opinion. It still is my opinion.
I think that was a great way to answer that question. Yeah, I think you did. I think you did real good there. As far as I know, it's not an issue with my kids. It seems to be pretty obvious on the surface, at least. I was going to show you guys this the other day, and I forgot. It was the 5th year anniversary last week of this. That's the judge who signed the adoption papers.
You got the kids.
That was me, much younger man. That's when my son still respected me and wasn't big enough to smack me down. We were out fighting in the front yard yesterday because he ticked me off. I mean, we weren't socking each other in the face, but and he's too. I used to grab him by the shirt and hold him up off the ground. He's too tall now. I need a little stool to stand on.
Yeah, lift him up. Yeah, Jake's just about my height.
He's going through a lot of stuff. He's got peer pressure on him that I don't even understand. He's a good-looking kid. He's athletic. He can do anything he wants to do. The difficulty is getting him to want to do something, to have a passion about something. So that's what I'm working on, and we'll see how it goes. I know he's going to be fine because Dwayne just came back into the room. When's the webinar on the tokens? And he already left. Okay. Now, Michael, did you hear that discussion? No, you were gone, I guess, about the company. Our partner, Scott, who is a licensed investment advisor. His company, he's the president of Retirement Planning Masters. So he helps, people, prepare for their retirement, all this kind of stuff. And it's, well, let's say that the payments that we get every month, let's say we were swiping those through. It amounts to the same thing. Okay, if they will take a look at a company's cash flow over a 4-month period, and the simplest way for most companies is they just work with their merchant processor.
Right.
So if you're processing $100,000 a month, you got $100,000 cash flow coming through that terminal. I think the website says they'll loan you up to 3 times that amount. Then you pay it back over 9 months, 1 day at a time. Each day, whatever you process through your terminal today, they will take a tiny sliver of that, some percentage. So it's designed to be kind of painless as you pay the money back, because you're paying it back daily, and it's such a small sliver you kind of don't notice it. It's not like the end of the month when you have to pay all the bills. I mean, this just happens in the background automatically. They work with your merchant processor, and the percentage goes, and then in 9 months you're done. And you've got a good record with them. And if you ever, oh, and here's what was interesting: a business cannot take an advance to pay off debt or take a vacation or anything. It can only be to grow their business, and so they have to submit along with their application to for the advance. Is they have to say, okay, this is exactly what I'm going to do with the money, and then they kind of have to exactly. I'm going to buy 2 more pizza ovens because on Friday and Saturday night we can't cook pizzas fast enough and we're losing business. So that's growing the business kind of thing. Okay, all right. So is John here? You know, he didn't. He knew I had those guests yesterday. He didn't come, but I didn't hear from him, and so that concerns me a little. Are you out there, John?
He's here.
Oh,
He's here.
perfect, perfect. He probably just was kind of giving me some space to talk to those guys.
Yep.
Hey, how could I put that?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Hey, John, welcome to the show. We missed you yesterday.
Yeah.
Hey, John.
Sure glad you're here.
Yeah, sorry I couldn't make it. I was a bit under the weather.
No, I understand, and that's okay. Hey,
Better
Mike,
today.
I could drag this GIF right into the. Do we have that on this platform?
Right into the what?
Oh, yeah. What's it go? You know what it's called?
Into the folder?
Yeah, the handouts. Is that what you handout? Yeah, handouts.
Oh, yeah, that's.
Yeah, so
You can drag and drop it in there.
I just grab and drop. Okay, I'll do that, guys. If you want, in a few minutes, as John and I talk, if you look in the handout section and go to webinar, if you want that little GIF and maybe create some wallpaper for your computer or something, please do. Thanks, Michael.
Okay.
Oh, recap of the recap.
No
I don't think I ever asked that.
Today it took 115 minutes, 10 trades, 105.
You got it done. Good job.
I did. Last trade of the morning. All right.
All right, John, tell us how you're doing today.
Well, actually, it's a very big day for us today. Fantastic day, actually.
Okay.
We've been building a very big position in the metals over the last few days, and we are at maximum position, you know, as far as the eye can see. And we got out at the highs this morning. We're up around 1368. That's where we sold it. We're looking to buy it back right about here. That's and the same on the silver. I think this is the battleship of gold has been laboring through a period of turmoil here, trying to turn over the last couple of months. And if anything, the gold has gotten behind the curve because the fundamentals are turning more bullish, especially at the unemployment number. And now yesterday the producer price index up 3%. That's one of the highest readings in decades. So the inflationary monster is there, coming from behind, and it's going to hit us between the eyes sometime in the next few months, maybe anywhere from 3 to 18 months from now. And I think that this breakout today is the real deal. Almost panic buying in the gold this morning. I think we sort of broke out or up through this around 1358 or so. That's where we just came back to. So we should go higher from here, and I would expect if we get an afternoon rally, it'll be with the same intensity as we came up this morning. So it's difficult to try and get a position on this pullback, but once you start to see this thing really going higher again, then I'd probably jump back on board. And the silver, we were up 25 cents. We were up $22 on the gold. If we go to new highs, then we're going to have a really big day, because there's only 10 days in the whole entire history where gold's gone up more than $25 in a day. Really? So obviously that's a very big deal.
Now we're at the highest price since August of 2016. Is that correct?
We're sort of getting up there. Yeah, we're not quite there, but we're close. And we could be at 1375 in a heartbeat. And if we are, I think we're going to 1390. I think this run is good for all the way to 1440. And it'll probably consolidate there in the low 14s before going up the next leg. But I would not rule out $1,000 move to the upside on gold from here. I think there's just too many. Look, here's sometimes it takes a while for people to get the memo because they're sort of focused on this market, which has eclipsed. Even Bitcoin sort of took the wind out of gold sales for a while, and then when that crashed, the market itself also eclipsed everything else. So now that gold is finally coming alive here, because people are starting to say, you know what, anybody who's really thinking about things, saying, well, we went through 19 trillion on the debt, and gold had the biggest move up in 30 years. In other words, sort of nothing happened at 17, 18, and then 19,000, bang. We suddenly, we just gone through 21 trillion, and, gold didn't do a thing yet. Okay. But I think we might be in for a kind of a delayed reaction where the gold really starts getting with the program and becomes, where it should be. Because, look, I mean, the market's gone up 6-7 times, whatever the number is, since 09, and gold should go up. Eventually, it will go up that same amount, 8 times, to make up for all this stuff that's been going on. We've practically tripled the debt now, believe it or not, since in 2 decades, and gold deserves to be triple the price. So this is the beginning of a very, very big move up, and there's going to be a lot of money to be made. Look, we do this pullback. You got to watch it really carefully and try and time the entry point. But when it, the key thing is this: we have to see a rally this afternoon. But yesterday the market sold off, and today the gold opened sharply higher. And if you didn't buy the opening, or if you weren't long, you were left behind.
Our alert last night, John, was to buy 1347.
Yeah, great trade.
Trade alerts last night, and it triggered at 2 a.m. Eastern, and it ran up to 49. Then it came back, got below the trigger, as it does. Important prices, important areas, and it took off from there. And what a beautiful $2,000 plus run per contract.
Yeah, and look at the oil. I mean, you talk about the oil as well. You should have caught that. Oil got up to 67.5 this morning.
Yeah, let me show
and look, between you and me, there ain't anybody on the planet who's called this market the way we have in the last few weeks. I'm telling you, we've caught every swing in this thing up and down, and we just, we caught this upswing, this last upswing this morning. Every time the market rallies, it's getting capped and it's having another shot at the lows. And I think this is a precursor to a big spike down. I think this military is going to be much bigger than anybody thinks. It's going to be pretty broad.
Are you talking about the Syria thing?
Yeah. And it's coming in the next few days. It's I think we saw the first anticipation of that this morning with the metals, and the spike, when it happens, you're probably going to see $30, $40, $50 move up in gold, maybe even $100 move up in gold, very, very rapidly. And I'm not sure it's going to stay up there, but this, with the Russians threatening to shoot down missiles and planes and things, it could turn much worse than
whoa.
It could.
Now I've missed some news. Russia's threatening to shoot our planes down.
Well, they didn't say planes; they said missiles.
Okay.
But you never know. There could be an accident, and planes may get shot down. I mean, there's if they give the Syrians their latest anti-aircraft stuff, the likelihoods, a B2 could be downed, and downing of a B2 could be worth $100 upside in gold. So this ain't no walk in the park.
Right.
That's coming, and it could turn into something much bigger. So they're not going to listen. I mean, I hope John Bolt, Graham
Lindsey Graham
from North Carolina.
Lindsey Graham.
Yeah, Lindsey. He's already said that the guy should be taken out, and that's what they should have done a long time ago. They wouldn't have this problem today. But it's always they never finish. They never get the job done properly the first time around. If they'd done that a year ago, the Syrian problem would be infinitely better than it is today, and a lot of people would still be alive. And they should have said no fly zone. This is, it's the same stuff all over again. It's like the biggest, I still call this the biggest military blunder of the 20th century, which was George Bush not taking out Iraq the first time around, and taking out Saddam Hussein. How many lives? There's 30,000 people maimed for life, and 4,000 people are dead because they didn't do the job properly the first time around. And they could have done it, but they pussyfooted around, and they even allowed Saddam to fly his helicopters, so he wiped out the Kurds in the north and the Shiites in the south. It's just terrible. And all of that was avoidable, but they were pussyfooting around, instead of laying the law down as they should have been doing. And the whole world would be a different place. I still think there'd be 2 towers in New York City if that happened, because the whole scenario, this was kind of the beginning of this whole Arab turmoil period that could have been nipped in the bud. Just the same as if they'd taken out Yasser Arafat 30 something years ago, we wouldn't have had half of the strife that happened in Israel. Fortunately, because Trump's initiative, where he went to the heart of the problem as first thing on the agenda, going to Saudi Arabia, he's turned 50 Muslim nations into friends. The Saudi crown prince is parading around America like the Messiah. He's getting the biggest welcome from everybody, and he's completely transformed the whole perception of Saudi Arabia, right, from being this whole Muslim thing has been kind of deflated into a kind of an acceptable thing rather than a hostile type of thing, and I think that's a very good thing. The people are entitled to have their religion, but they should be respectful of other people's religious, right, as well. And he's doing that. He's meeting with the different religions, which is phenomenal. This guy is doing everything right, and we should be very grateful.
And boy, they
that's
just
happening.
Won't cut him a break,
because look, it takes the it takes the extremists. They don't have anything to be extreme about anymore. We're making friends with all these people. You know what I mean? Right. So it's really a great thing, and hopefully it'll be the ultimate solution to the Middle East. And the Syria thing is kind of the last problem to fix, and the quicker it's fixed, the better. So we'll have to see what happens. But you can't. This fellow is a war criminal, whether you like it or not. This guy has tortured and killed 12,000 people. If you don't believe me, read about it in the Sunday Times. They did a multi-page expose ages ago, and all the horrific things that this fellow's been up to. The guy should have been taken out eons ago, and it's a disgrace that he's still alive, to be honest with you. It really is.
Yeah, it really is. And what's Putin's
and he's still pulling the stunts, still going on. It's just absolutely unbelievable.
Well, the day Trump said that we're going to, start moving out of Syria, which I was surprised to hear him say that. But, that was the day
he kind of slipped up a bit there, when he did that. It was a pity, but...
Because he had said he was not going to be Obama and telegraph every,
Yeah, he slipped up because he really wants to get out, but he kind of let it out, probably by accident.
Obama literally said, "Save your bullets because we'll be leaving on this day at this time," and the keys are in the Hummer. So, Very discouraging that was. So you mentioned Crude, and on Crude, we did on the alert last night, the email, it said to consider buying $65.95, and so we had a $450 per contract move, got back below the trigger, and a $350 per contract move, back below the trigger, and then a $1,500 per contract move. The only issue with that $1,500 move is that it came out when the inventory numbers came out, and we teach our guys to just go flat on news, because not that some people don't trade news and trade it very well. It's a complicated thing. It used to be that in fact, Trump said this not too long ago. He said it used on TV. I heard him repeating something I've said for a while, is that it used to be if you had good news, the market would go up, and if you had bad news, the market would go down. Not the case anymore. You never know if it's already baked into the cake, all that, buy the rumor, sell the fact, vice versa. There was a question for you, John. What if 1358/59 is just another failed attempt at the daily upper resistance trend line? And he's talking, I'll bring up that chart that you asked me to bring up. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, I know what he's coming up with, because the market went up so fast this morning, it's kind of pulling back, and obviously if we closed down here or lower, it doesn't look very good for tomorrow. We might have another pullback. I think with this thing looming, the odds of a spike higher are very, very high indeed. So just like the last couple of days, we've had some, we had a weak finish yesterday, and the market opened at, hugely higher today. It's going to be a bit tough. The easy positioning is probably over, and it wasn't easy. You had to go in and sort of buy the lows, which was very, very difficult in the last few days of this upturn. And you have to be kind of careful here. We just had a little bit of a pop off the lows while we were speaking, and I actually put the stops in there a short while ago. But we're probably going to jerk around a bit here, maybe test a bit. But I think the market's turning, and you'll know for sure if this thing starts accelerating higher, going into the close. If you start to see extreme buying, you definitely have to take a shot at it, because it probably means we're getting closer to something pretty epic happening.
Now I've got a daily chart up. Mike B in the audience asked me to put up a daily chart of the gold, and so he's looking at this triple top across here. Now we spiked it, and his question to me was, do you think it'll hold on a Trader Vic? And for those that don't know, that just means when you break through, it pulls back and confirms good support and then takes off. It's called the Trader Vic because some guy named Vic wrote a book.
There's a service out there called Fourth Time or something like that. It used to be a pretty good guy who used to call the markets, lived in Spain. And this is the fourth time. And what that means is, usually you get 3 attempts. The fourth one is the one that works, and it's the one that's just gone to a new high. So
look at this. Look what I always tell you guys, when you cross the street, look both ways, but when you're trading, you only have to look left. Look at that. I just found there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Now what's his thing about the fourth time?
Well, when the fourth one goes through, it's the real deal. It's it.
So guys, this is a daily candle. So at the end of the day, will we close above these highs, these 3 highs?
Yeah, and we don't even have to, because it could just gap through that now.
Yes, absolutely. That will happen a lot when price has trouble getting through an area to the upside or to the downside. What John just said. If they can't get through there in regular trading, the market will often gap over it, just leap right over it.
Yeah.
And,
yeah.
Have you listened to any of this testimony by Mr. Zuckerberg?
Yeah, I listened to it yesterday, but a couple of hours, but I didn't get the whole thing, and I didn't have a chance to listen to it today because there's too much stuff going on. But
he's being respectful. He's accepting responsibility. I think I heard him say
he's doing
sorry.
everything. he's doing everything right. He's he's a pretty clever fellow. But and the stock, we called this, we called the rally. Yes, we've been nailing. It's pretty choppy trading, but we've been doing a pretty reasonable job of catching most of the turns here. And the oil, I guess the oil is up on the Middle East fears, as well as the Saudi prince, crown prince, said he wants to see $80 a barrel oil, so that definitely helped. So
here's
now
Facebook
look,
chart, if you want to look at it.
Yeah, the metals are starting to go here. It's definitely looking like.
What are you watching? The Nugget? I'll bring that up if you want.
Yeah, the JNUG is a good deal too.
JNUG.
Yeah, it's been leaked today, so and it looks like they're starting to run now, so they're starting to move back up.
Okay. Oh, and this was important. I talked about it briefly just before Michael came to do the recap. 22 European nations have formed a new blockchain partnership aimed to exchange information on the technology. The countries, including the UK, France, Germany, Norway, Spain, and the Netherlands, signed a declaration on Tuesday establishing the new group dubbed the European Blockchain Partnership. And this all comes straight from the European Commission, which led the effort. Now, would that be the same people that were behind the euro, the European Commission?
Well, that's another thing. The dollar is definitely broken down quite a bit. The last sell we put out was at 89.60, and it got down to 89 almost this morning. So, breaking 89 is going to be a very big deal for the dollar. Now, what will probably happen is when this military action starts, you might get a weakening dollar to start with as the gold spikes, and then the dollar could get strong. So, if we do get a spike in gold, you have to be pretty disciplined about it and make sure you got the stops in, as we spike higher, because 9 times out of 10 there's usually a kind of a sharp reversal on the spike. So and even if we spike up $100, it might be it might not hold those levels for too long, just a kind of reaction thing. So and the same thing, look, we could come in tomorrow morning and the market could be down 500 points or 1,000 or something. We could actually make a spike low and then we could turn. So you got to be ready for that when it happens, because I think this spike might be the final chance to buy these stocks. And really, what's been going on is, unless we really break down substantially for some reason we can't yet see, the fact that the market, how many times they try to break the market and they've just not been able to do it. Right. It's sort of bullish. It's actually, look at Netflix today. Netflix had a huge run up earlier on, and it's probably LX.
NFLX, yeah. Okay. Man, that company, it's just incredible. From getting a DVD in the mail to what they do now at these streaming services, it's just it's incredible.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. And look, the probability of Netflix blowing away the market this quarter again, very high. And honestly, look, my little aims, like the fangs, AAAM, Alphabet, Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, and you could probably stick Netflix in there as well. But 4 of them are in the $750 billion market cap range. And I think when we come out of here, look, when we come out of this thing, it's going to be, there's going to be there'll be a rally that will just kind of like the gold suddenly running up and going crazy. There'll be a rally off this bottom, possibly before the end of the week or going into next week, where if Trump really hammers the heck out of Syria and he uses everything, B2s and F-35s and everything else, and everything comes home safe, this market could absolutely skyrocket. So we start heading up, and I think the race for the trillion is on. There'll be the four or five candidates, including Microsoft, all racing for $1 trillion, the first $1 trillion. And when one or more of these stocks hit $1 trillion, I mean, it's going to be a huge buzz, and it's probably going to be the highs for the year in the market, the summer highs. I think with the earnings are probably going to be pretty good across the board, And if you start seeing Google gap up $50 and Amazon gapping up these kind of things, I mean, you're going to see you're probably going to see Amazon go to 2,000, Netflix probably 450, 500, and Apple 200, Google probably 1,500. There's your bull market top, somewhere up around there.
Mm-hmm. Let me show you.
Now the gold's turning up sharply,
Okay.
and the market's coming off here pretty sharply. So
now we're right in a weekly zone here at 1361/62. In fact, the highest weekly zone that we have is up at 72.73. And so, guys, we went through this
really
zone,
hammering the heck out of this market right now.
pulled back, consolidating in the zone, and now we should expect a continuation in the direction of the slice, at least up to somewhere around. So if, for instance, Brian, you're looking for a radio trade, you don't do gold though. That's right. Right now, I would say consider being long 1364. Your target's 1367. That's $300 per contract, and once you get to 67, advance your stop and trail by 2 or 3 ticks. Well, the market's gonna come back and take me out. That's exactly right. Or if it can power its way through this high, then you'll just trail right up to that zone at 72.73. Either way, I think it will be an opportunity. So keep that in mind. 64 to 67. Okay, I think that's a pretty good trade idea. And Brian, I'll find you one for the S&P. I want to show, John, can you see my screen? And I know you've seen this before, but just because you mentioned $1 trillion, it brought this back. $1 billion, $100 billion, $800 billion, $1 trillion. I think this is okay. All right, that's a $100 bill. A packet of $100 bills is less than a ½ inch thick and contains 10 grand. You can put 10 grand in your pocket if you got $100 bills. Now, believe it or not, this next little pile is $1 million. It's 100 packets.
Briefcase kind of size.
$10,000. Yeah, you could stuff that in a grocery bag and walk away with it. While a measly 1 million looked a little unimpressive, 100 million is a little more respectable. It fits on a standard pallet. $1 billion. Now we're getting somewhere. You need one. You need two.
That other one back.
Four.
What was the last one? The pallet.
Okay, the last one was.
That's 100 million.
That's 100 million.
Right, okay.
Now we're looking at $1 billion. So 2, 4, 6, 8 pallets for $1 billion. Next, we'll look at $1 trillion. This is that number we've been hearing so much about. $1 trillion. It's a million. It's 1,000 billion. It's a 1 followed by 12 zeros. Ready for this? It's pretty surprising. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you $1 trillion. And there's the little guy. Is that, I mean, wow, that's staggering, is it not?
It sure is, yeah.
Notice those pallets are double stacked, and those are all $100 bills. So the next time you hear someone toss around the phrase $1 trillion, at least you'll know what they're talking about. Wow. Now, how many trillions of dollars in debt are we? 17?
21.
21. So take this times 21, guys, and that's the most prosperous nation on the face of the earth. That worries me. It does. What do you think, Ryan? What's up with him, Speaker Ryan? Why is he You going fishing?
I don't know. You know what? It won't be. Maybe it'll be blessing in disguise. Put somebody in there who could get, do a better job than him. Because this spending bill they did the other day was just an absolute disaster. It was kind of a ripoff.
I didn't even see it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we've looked at gold, and this was okay. Let's see the Dow. I haven't looked at the Dow yet today. Okay, the Dow, down, zone to zone to zone. Except those, I think, are last week's zones. So no, that's this week. 55, 60. No, it's actually 60, 65 this week. 43, 65. So what are your thoughts on the Dow here, John?
Well, we're down. I mean, I'm not sure if all of my readings are right, but we are down on everything today. We're down on the. Well, actually, we're up on the SOX. That's kind of a good thing, and we're just about up on the mid cap, but we are down on quite a few things, and the what you call it map, the map of the S&P 500 doesn't look very good. In fact, the only thing that's really positive today is Facebook and the basic materials, oil and gold and things. Everything else is red or pretty, or not very green. It's kind of not a very. It's not a very good day. I mean, it could get better, because I think if Zuckerberg finishes here soon, it could produce a rally, because they basically say, well, it's over, and he did okay. So that could be the story, Mm-hmm. But I think the market is a little bit spooked with the gold being up as well, and the impending. A lot of people might. Usually what happens with military action is the market starts getting the jitters as it sort of happens, and it tends to go down. Maybe 300, 400, 500 points or so, possibly more, and then when it gets over the initial shock, and it can only be anywhere from a day to a few days before that happens, the market starts turning up, and then it tends to rally pretty strongly after that. So, well, the gold has turned back up a little bit. The gold stocks are picking up again. It's kind of difficult trading this stuff, because the gold stocks preceded the gold move, quite dramatically. Actually, the gold stocks have been rising for several days, where the gold has been pretty sluggish to get going. And then all of a sudden the gold screams up, this morning, and right at the highs, the gold stock starts selling off, and the gold is still rising. So it gets a little bit difficult to coordinate between the gold stocks and the gold. So right now the gold stocks are, they just shot up a short while ago. They're kind of consolidating here a bit. Could still be another retest of the lows, but the most important thing is, as long as we get back in a rally mode before the close. Then
we got the Fed minutes coming out. Karen just in the chat room just mentioned that.
That could be kind of pretty bullish, actually. That could be. Because they're probably going to talk about raising rates, and right now that's kind of bullish for gold. So,
anything else you want to cover today?
No. Listen, thanks very much. Lumber. We did sell the lumber up around 535 or there, somewhere in there. It's at 523, locked limit down right now. So it's probably going to go down for a few days, this lumber, maybe down the limit. Also, I think the grains might have done it for the time being. They might have put in a sell up around the highs of the grains this morning, and they're on their way down, and I think they could be in for a bit of a hit. Not necessarily a big of a hit, but remember if the market starts tanking, it might drag this stuff down for a day or two, as well. Cotton, which we actually have an opposite view on at the moment, is actually acting pretty good. And we put a buy on the coffee today at 119.2 this morning. It's at 120 right now. And our last buy on the cotton was around 83 or 83.2 or somewhere like that. It's at 83.8 right now, and I'd probably want to be staying long the cotton, and I'd probably want to stay long the coffee as well. And I'd put a stop on the cocoa at 25.60 right now.
Okay. I'm gonna have to get some charts together for those so I can walk through them as you're talking about. Because I think a lot of people probably don't have a tremendous amount of experience in the softs. I don't. I've never traded cotton.
The softs are good trending markets, as we've seen with cocoa. And actually cocoa seems to be starting to get ready to break out the high end of the range again. So and I think cocoa's going to 3,000, maybe even higher. And I think actually coffee could be a buy, right? Not even here. Was a buy this morning, but now it's definitely looks like it wants to go higher tomorrow.
Okay. All right.
Okie
Now,
doke.
when do you think this? Okay, are we going to strike Syria?
Yeah, well, it looks that way. And Ollie North was on last night, and he's saying that, if this is a bit more than just lobbing some cruise missiles, it takes about 10 days to get everybody into position, with rescue and coordinating ships and things, and they probably don't have enough assets in the area just yet either. So, and they've got some issues to work out with Turkey and different bases that they can use, things like that. So it's probably going to take quite a bit of preparation, because I don't think they're going to go in with a pinprick this time.
I know many people in the world view it as, okay, you don't want him to kill his people, so we're going to go in and kill him. It's not like that, and there's always going to be. That's one of the most horrible things about war is the collateral damage.
Yeah.
And,
well, if the Russians go around shooting cruise missiles down, it might end up killing more people than intended. And so that's the other thing to be.
He needs to think real hard about that. I mean, really hard. I don't know. These guys that have more money than they can spend and still want more, I have a disconnect with that. And guys who are in incredible positions of power over many people, that's not good enough. I got to rule the world. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I just don't have enough testosterone. Maybe that's my problem. All right, buddy. Thank you so much.
All right, thanks a lot.
Appreciate you, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Oh, by the way,
yes.
Listen, with the sun, the troubles with the sun, listen, I'll tell you what, you can't make kids do what they don't want to do. It's no matter how much you have aspirations, my son was lucky enough to be born with he's nearly 6'4", and he's, everybody thought he was going to be a basketball player, and, he did do that, he kind of like that, but, I thought he would have made an incredible pitcher, because he's got the physique to do it, and couldn't get him interested, and so, you can't, they got to find their own deal, and they'll find it sooner or later,
Well, and see, that's kind of really where I am with my son, is I'm trying to help him find his passion, something that he can get behind and really care about, because if he really poured himself into something, I know he'll be successful. My fear is that he won't find that thing, and I guess I just need to trust God and let nature take its course, and just keep a watchful eye, because you're right. Ultimately, he has to make the decisions. Otherwise, it won't stick. That's what you're saying, right? Okay. All right. Well, thanks, Sean. I really appreciate it.
Okay.
And
All the best.
talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, guys. We've walked through most of the markets, but not all. In queue here last night. Now, if you didn't get a chance to grab your screenshot, by all means, do. If you want one. Now, the alerts got out last night. I was back on track. I got them out at 6:20 p.m. Eastern. The market reopens at 6 p.m. Eastern. Got them out to you by 6:20. So it gives you an opportunity to, get them on your chart. Doesn't mean you have to start trading right away. It also means you can start trading right away if you want. The difference, and I wrote about this also the other night, is that the Concierge Trade Alert traders, who many are also CFRN partners, if they're trading, if they've reached the point in their trading career that they're ready to trade the alerts, knowing ahead of time where you're going to trade, what you're going to trade, or where you're going to trade it, if it goes there, it takes a lot of that, takes a lot of pressure off. It kind of clears your mind, because once you've done all your sim trading and you now own the alerts, because you're not wondering, oh, do they work? It's not a matter of do they work. That kind of, if I ever snip at somebody because you make a statement like that, it's not because I'm just some grumpy old guy, but the way we think and the way we speak, sometimes people go, well, I didn't mean no harm by that. They say something and say, well, I didn't mean any harm. Okay, I believe you. You did not mean any harm to yourself or any other human being. But it's yourself that I'm worried about. Because if you're using that kind of language, I'm not talking about cursing, I'm just talking about negativity or whatever it might be. Oh, I knew I was going to get stopped out. Oh, you did? Well, then why'd you take the trade? Well, you know what I mean. Well, no, I'm confused. Right now I'm playing your subconscious. Now, this is scientific. Your subconscious does not know if you're joking. It doesn't have a sense of humor. It doesn't understand sarcasm, much like Sheldon on The Big Bang Theory. Okay? If you make some kind of negative statement, trash talking in your mind, your subconscious it's like a neutral kind of a force, sort of like money, right? You can use money for good or evil. If you take a $100 bill and feed a hungry child, or take the same $100 bill, or one just like it, and build a dirty bomb, the expression on Ben's face never changes. It's consistent, it's constant, it's neutral. Okay? So, I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, ask a question. Type it in the box. I'll try to cover it. Zimbabwe is according to Jim, is currently printing $200 trillion notes. He's talking about one bill. Is Mugabe still in power there, Jim, or did he get deposed, or did he pass away? In 1970, it was 1-to-1 with the U.S. dollar. Now you talk about runaway inflation. This is worse than the Weimar Republic. In 1970, one Zimbabwe dollar was equal to one U.S. dollar, and they're now printing $200 trillion notes that might buy you a soda pop. How? That's insane. Gary asked, could I put the gold chart back up? I can, Gary. I've got two. I've got the 30-minute and I've got a daily. Which one was it you wanted me to put up? And I'll put it up for you real quick. Here's the 30-minute. Okay. And this one's daily. And what I did here was from the low from the swing low to the swing high. Did I get that right? Yeah. From the swing low to the swing high. This is the 38% retracement. No. Let's do this again. Let's do it again. I need to make those lines darker. Okay. Just get out. There you go. Okay. So here's what I was doing, or attempting to do. From the swing low to the swing high, that gives us our Fibonacci retracements. Okay. Now, people often ask, well, so I hear you mentioning Fibonacci. Is that something you teach in your 90-day mentoring program? Well, as we spend time together in one-on-one mentoring sessions, it is something that we'll discuss. And I will teach you as much as you want to know about it, okay? I'll teach you enough so that you can apply it to trade setups and that kind of thing. It's deep, but it doesn't take a lifetime of study or even, years, whatever. It's once you understand it, I mean truly understand it, then it's just a part of the fabric of the universe, life. So from the low to the high, what we have, this is a 24% Fibonacci retracement based on math from the 14th century, 15th century, and rabbits. Whenever you look at fibs, you should think rabbits, because that's how Fibonacci, Leonardo da Pisa, came up. He figured this all out because he was seeing how fast rabbits multiply. You need to, if you haven't read that, Google can explain it to you far better than I could. But then once you have the rabbit story, then I'll just teach you how to make it part of your trading methodology. As far as what we do in the live training room every day, the Fibonacci is built into our proprietary indicator set. When price, we wait for bullish cross, price pulls away, price pulls back to physically touch, up close, by the open of the next candle. Well, when it pulls back to touch the BBC, most times it will be a 38 or a 50% Fibonacci retracement. So you don't have to go running around on that 4-tick range drawing fibs, because if it pulls back to the BBC, you can, in fact, what you should do is you should draw a few to just prove it to yourself and say, oh, okay, he's right. I don't have to think about this anymore. So we've already done that heavy lifting for you. So 24% retracement, 38% retracement, 50% retracement. Now, this 50% retracement, I think, is important in that, look left, you see this, okay? If we sell off, if we pull back, okay, we got the lows in here. This was resistance, and then it became support. If we get back down there again, the question will be support or not. Here's what I expect. Even if gold is destined to go to 1260, okay, and I'm certainly not saying it is, but let's just say we knew that gold was going to go to 1260. I still believe that when price comes down and tags this 50% retracement, it'll bounce, okay? I mean, look at the leg on that thing right there, that wick. That's a daily candle, okay? That's rejection. It got to the 50% Fibonacci price retracement, and it was rejected. It's like it touched a hot stove and ran away. So even if we're going to, on our way to 1260, let's just say, on our way to 1260, we're going to hit this 50% Fibonacci retracement, and it will bounce, all right? Am I absolutely positively sure? Yeah, there's so few absolutes in trading. I can only say this: it is one of the highest probability things that I know of. On a daily chart, even an hourly, you want to be in a larger time frame, but price almost always will bounce at a 50% Fibonacci retracement. It doesn't mean we're going to go all the way back to the 38. Doesn't mean we're going to go up and put in a new high. It just means that so many people understand Fibonacci math and apply the fibs to their charts. It becomes like a self-fulfilling prophecy. There's all these buyers sitting down here going, oh man, just give me the chance to buy 1305 again, and I'll be all over that thing, right? So those people because they've heard some guy like me say it almost always bounces at a 50% retracement. They've heard it so many times, they'll just park an order here and wait for the magic to happen. I'm not a fan of that, okay? Because just as price beautifully bounced right there, it could also just plummet right through it. Why not? Why not wait and see price sort of firm up at the 50% retracement, and then on a 30-minute, make sure you have a bullish cross behind you, and then on your 4-tick range, you can take a normal setup. Now, because your premise of the trade is a 50% retracement on a daily, and now you're all the way down, you went to the 30, now you're down to the 4-tick range, okay, you might get a couple of false starts. That's possible. But it will also probably run further than your typical trade. 1304 up to the 38, that would be 16. That's $1,600 per contract. Okay. Is it going to go there? I don't know. I have to wait and see. I'm a wait and see kind of guy. The market needs to give me a reason to participate. No matter what I think may happen, no matter how probability that it's going to happen, let it start happening, and then I'll join the party. Okay? All right. Oh, and then the other thing I'm just going to do, I'll do real quick, because we'll get out of time here. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Now, these are Fibonacci price extensions. One tells us mathematically where price may pull back to. Okay, we just talked about that. And this one tells us, based upon what's already happened, where price might venture next. So we're going to pull that up right there. So we go from the low to the high to the retracement low, and we've already hit the 50% Fibonacci extension. 50% of what? 50% of the initial leg here. We've already done that. And then we got the 62 overhead at 1382. And if it does 100%, if it duplicates this leg, and by duplicating it, I don't mean, you know, like you could trace over it with some tracing paper, that it simply goes, let's see, that's 139 up to 66, call it 40. I'm going to round it. What it's saying is that from this point, price will move 26 points higher if you get 100% extension. Okay. All right. Chat. Did you do a trade for the show yet? Oh, doggone it, Brian. I did do a gold trade, but then I said, oh wait, but Brian doesn't trade gold, and that gold trade didn't trigger anyway. So I said I'll find an S&P trade for Brian. It seems like I mentioned one, but I'm not seeing it. Okay, we've triggered once at the alert, twice at the alert, 3 times at the alert. It doesn't seem like it wants to go there. Now, guys, where it says points available, okay, what that means is that is where the market went. Okay? But we never get out at the swing high or swing low because we trail a stop, or at least we teach you to trail a stop. You may choose to handle it differently, and that's okay. 2655 to 2660, Brian. I like the premise of that, okay? Because the way this thing's tightening here, it doesn't seem like it wants to go down. There's definitely buying pressure. So if like on the 4-tick, well, let's do it real quick. Do I have a free chart? I need another chart. I wonder if this will give me another chart. File. New tab. It's probably going to tell me I'm over my limit. See. ESMA. Okay. Is it going to do it or not? Because what I want to do is bring up a 4-tick range. Oh, we're already at 5250, huh? Oh shoot, that thing already popped up to 55. Oh, 5450. All right, I guess we'll have to find something else. Unless you got it, unless you grabbed it, I don't know. 4-tick range, 4-tick range. Custom range. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, what is, I've got a problem here. Oh, yep. It was hiding behind another window. Your subscription of 10 has been reached. I actually get 20 because I'm a radio personality. So I need to call somebody. If you undock a tab, oh, that's right. Somebody taught me how to redock it. Do you want to? No, because never mind. All right. So Brian, you didn't get that, right? No, I'm still looking to sell the pops unless it gets going here. Okay. Well, let's see the swing high. I had said 50 to 55. It made it to 54.50, so it didn't do what I thought it would do. But I can see where the issue lies. Look at the horizontal line of my cursor, guys. How many times? Problem is, if I move my mouse, I move my cursor. Go all the way to the left side of my screen. Okay, now on the left side of my chart there, you see the horizontal cursor? You see price just below it. Okay, now let's go to the right a little bit. See that wick? Go to the right a little bit more. See that little tiny doji and that high right there? Go a little bit more to the right. Okay, it spiked it pretty good there, right? Okay, but then price came back down, and when it hit that sell trigger at 26.50, look what it did. It bounced right up to where my horizontal line is on my cursor, and it made that 24-point drop, and then it got back above the trigger. Look at the horizontal line. There's a yellow arrow right above it. Look at that. And we drop 9 points, and we get back above the trigger, and not this candle, not the one before, 3 candles back, not the current one, not the one before, but the one, yeah. Look at where that wick ran up and touched, like an obsessive compulsive kind of a thing. It just like it had to touch it. Had I noticed all of that, well, let me show you. Would I have called? I don't like that term either, calling the trade. I get that a lot. People, when they want to take the trial. Does your guy call the trades clear so I can get them? And I'm like, yeah, but if that's all you're looking for, you should. We're not really. That's not what we do. He's like, what? Oh, you're one of those guys. You don't call the trade. It's like, well, no, we do. But our goal is not just to call the trade, and you be able to copy it. Our goal is to teach you to call the trade. We want you to be able to look at a chart, read it, understand what it's telling you about the people behind the candles. It's what we see on this platform, these candles, all of it, it's a graphic representation of investor sentiment. I know what was going on in this 30-minute period of time, and this 30-minute period of time, and this 30-minute period of time. Okay. I know that sellers pounded this thing, right? They pounded it. They got it from 26.58. I'm looking at this red candle. From 26.58, they pounded that thing all the way down to 45. It's at 13 S&P points. Okay. But then look at this wick. Rejection. Now, there's not any kind of a line there. There's not a zone or a fib or an alert. But look at that wick. I mean, sellers worked hard to knock that thing down. They did it here. They did it here. They did it here. See, the first time they knocked it all the way down 24 points. Second time they could only knock it down 9 points. Third time they knocked it down, what's the lowest candle? 46. They knocked it down 4 points. So sellers were able to push it 24 points below the trigger. Then they were able to push it 9 points below the trigger. Then they can only get 4 points below the trigger. So it appears that that right now fortune favors the bulls. I mean, there seems to be more buying pressure than selling pressure at the moment. That's subject to change, you know. Okay, fine. Let's say I'm right for once, and that bulls do drive this thing up. Then what? Because remember what we're talking about overhead. I didn't even see that. Remember when I connected all this stuff earlier, just a minute ago? Come on now. Just fascinates me. Trigger, 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 trigger. Then we sent an alert out to sell here, and 30 minutes later, bang. And then price runs right back up, touches that area. Support, 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 resistance. Yeah, didn't quite get there. Sellers came in early. Right up to it. Spiked it, but ultimately sent it back down. Spiked it again. Sent it back down. Did sellers come in early? Could be. How high did that one get? Did it ever make it up to 55? Yeah, it made it there to the tick. So, see, here's an instance where I could have been correct, you know, and Brian could also be correct, because there was 5 points to the upside from 50 to 55. Maybe you don't get it all, but you could get some of it. And then Brian says, you know, I kind of like the short side, so I'm going to wait and see what I can get there. We could both. These markets are so beautiful right now. So much volatility. It's not always this good. I'm just going to be honest with you. It's good enough to keep all of us around all these years, but this is like the golden age. I feel like the Gatsby or something, the Great Gatsby. I mean, these are good times for the market, for traders. I know we got trouble all over the world. Okay, let's see if there's any final questions. I gotta get up and get out of here. Brian says, I'll just hit resistance, and then I think the next pop, I think you meant pop, will be, or bounce, will be bought if it is going up easily. Here comes the gotcha trade on pullback, or it will go down, but looks like shakeout and then up. Brian says, sell, sell. Danger, Will Robinson, sell. Still happening. Early watch for later bounce. Okay. Sounds like you got this thing well under control, sir. And, okay, 2650. 9-point drop, 24-point drop, 9-point drop, and this 4. This 4 actually belongs to that little green wick right there. But it looks like it's going to push deeper. So, now the Dow we covered. So, 24,180, dropped 120 points, dropped 37 points. And on the long side, way up here, we never got a trigger. On the Russell, we said to consider selling, 1537, dropped $600 per contract available. We had hoped to buy on the Russell, you didn't get the chance. Ran right up there. At least they didn't touch it, right? Trigger you in and then stop you out. Came up, looked around, said, dive, dive. Time for the Fed. Thank you so much for the reminder, Brian. No, it's past time, isn't it? Wasn't it supposed to be at 2? Brian says Fed out, dollar up. Okay, got it. Now, for those who maybe weren't tuned in earlier, shame on you. I'm teasing. Here's how the flow is going to go for the rest of the week here.